Hello, I'm James Saunders. I am the Relationship and Strategy Manager for Inclusion with Gloucestershire County Council. I'm here with Ben Jordan, who is the head at Lakeside Primary, and we're here to talk about the TALC this morning. Ben, can you talk to me about how you perceive the TALC when the comments came out to schools and before you'd actually engaged with the process?
Right. Good morning, James. Being honest, the communications came through. Obviously, I engaged with it. There was a section on the website which gave some information in detail in terms of the relevant flowcharts, the differences between the processes, and obviously the TALC and TALC Plus. If I'm being honest, my initial judgment on it was another layer of perhaps bureaucracy that schools had to go through. And I didn't make a judgment on it because that would have been unfair, but it felt as if it was another process on top of more processes. So whilst I didn't discount it, there was an element of, is this just another layer of going through hoops?
Fantastic, and thanks for your honesty. The second point I want to come to is the team around locality cluster operational group, how you feel that differs from a team around the family or a team around the child meeting that you would typically previously have experienced.
So having done quite a lot of TAF and TAC meetings, I think fundamentally the biggest difference is the layer of detail, the layers of detail that go into it. So right from the very beginning, whether that was the triage process with early help, whether that was the presentation of evidence, whether that was the direct communication with professionals, right from the beginning, it became very clear that this was something far more than a TAF or a TAC. And by that, that's not degrading either of those two processes, because from my own school experiences, both have been very successful. But right from the outset, the TALC process was more detailed. I was held to greater account, but the fact that it was engaging with so many professionals, that was the clearest difference for me. It felt different.
Thank you. Great. So you've obviously now been through the TALC process with, I think, 2 young people. I want to understand from a school's perspective the benefits of engaging with TALC, and also perhaps from your staff perspective, so school and staff perspective, the benefits of engaging with the TALC.
So if I do the school benefits first, I think because the build up to the triage process and the build up to the TALC panel is so thorough, it enables the whole school to focus on the needs of individual children in far more detail. Once it's gone through that triage, you're then given what I consider to be quite a unique opportunity to have a range of significant professionals, whether that's educational psychology, whether that's housing, or around one call. And at the moment we're operating virtually, but I'm sure that in non-COVID times it would be in a room with people. And instantly you feel that there are a range of professionals in one room all working on one goal. And that feeling came across right from the very beginning of the TALC process. And I'd compared it to previous things where you have to have several meetings with several different professionals, and often you don't get to speak to the professional who is the lead or who is the person who makes those decisions. So right from the beginning, in terms of whole school engagement, I felt that we were able to engage with a range of professionals that gave high quality advice, but also acted on their recommendations. It wasn't, can you try this and then you won't hear from us again. It was, try this and I will be available to you at the end of the phone. So in terms of whole school process and how proactive that process was, and I've said this to you before, it was the single best process I've seen, and I've been in Gloucestershire for quite some time, but the single best process that I've been involved in because of the proactive response that was given. I think for staff, fortunately, with the 2 TALC referrals and then panels that we were part of, it involved more staff than just myself. So my Senko, I'm fortunate to have a Senko assistant, but I've also broadened that to class teachers, teaching partners, and other members of staff, because they've benefited from the professional advice that we were given during the TALC conference, but they've also been able to ask their own questions. And then I followed that up with the links that I developed at the conference, and then they've been followed up on. So in terms of impact and sustainability, both of those have been excellent. And the words from my staff are, and they went into it with a feeling of a little bit of skepticism, because like me, many of them have been through meetings that are often quite lengthy. They came out feeling empowered. And I think if there's a feeling of empowerment for the adults, then that has to rub off on the children as well.
Ben, thanks ever so much for your honesty this morning.